Hey everybody, welcome back. This is Scott Dallin with Brainstorm. Thank you for joining us again with our Productivity Happiness Lab. This week's lab is about OneNote. OneNote is one of my favorite topics to discuss. OneNote, if you were to take a stab at it, what would be the advantages of a digital notebook versus a handwritten notebook? Think about sharing your notes or being able to access your notes 6 months later, right? Let's take a look at some OneNote functionality that might be helpful to you as we get into this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cover some of the user interface like I did with Teams a couple weeks ago, and then I'll get into some of my favorite ways to use OneNote. Let's take a look at it. All right, so jumping in, I've opened up the desktop version of OneNote here, and I like the desktop features myself. But notice here across the top, I've got all my tabs right here. I've got File, Home, Insert, Draw. If you double click on any tab, just like in any of the application, it pins your commands open. So your ribbon stays open. Now, right here, you see Jeff at Contoso. If I hit that down arrow next to Jeff here, this gives me a list of all the notebooks in my bookcase. Well, it's simple to add additional notebooks simply by hitting on this plus sign right here. And you can add additional notebooks. Now, as a best practice, personal pro tip that I recommend, I always create all of my notebooks, unless it's for a specific team, I create all my OneNote notebooks in my personal OneDrive for Business. That way I can choose to share it later if I want to, but I always have access to it from any device that I'm on, regardless of where I am or what as long as I have internet connectivity, I can get to my OneNote notebooks from my phone, from my tablets, from my PC, from my desktop at the house. So I have that access to me. All right, now, let's come back in here. This, as I mentioned, is your bookcase. Then across the top here, you have all these, the ability to add tabs. Just like within your loose leaf notebooks that you had in school. You can have as many tabs as you want, and you can actually set up and right-click on these and create groups of tabs. A group of tabs is like a whole different notebook within OneNote. And so if I open up this group of tabs, watch what happens. Now this section of the notebook, I can have as many tabs in as I want to as well. Right-click on the tabs, name them, change their color however you want to. If you want to get back to the base notebook, the original notebook, come right here and hit this back arrow right there. That takes you back to the original setting. Now, one thing I want to warn you about with these tabs. When you right-click on these tabs, you'll see down here where it says password protect this section. I need to draw your attention to this because this is really important. If you choose to use this section, you cannot forget the password for that section. I don't know any way to go back and reset your password there. So if you forget your password, that section stays locked, you guys. So just be aware of it. I don't know of any way to come back and reset that. So I just want to make sure you're aware of that situation. One other thing I want to show you about this right-click button right here is you have the ability to move and merge sections along. So don't feel like you have to have your notebook set up perfectly to start with. I want you to feel free to get in and start using it because you can consolidate it later and change it later if you need to as you start dialing in to the work processes that make sense for you. Now, let's come over here to the right-hand side right here. Over here, do you see this plus sign over here on the right-hand side where it says Add Page? You can have as many pages in any of your section tabs that you want. Now, when you click with a right click on these untitled pages or a titled page, you can also make those sub-pages. Again, allowing you to set up your notebooks to work whatever makes sense to you. So feel free to get in and explore some of that. Now, personally, I don't like this blank white screen right here. This whole section for note-taking, I like to have a little bit of formatting to my notebook. So one of the things I like to do is come up here to the View tab, right up here at the top, click on View, come over here, add some page color to it. So let's make it a legal pad look. I'm going to go ahead and make it yellow. And right next to that page color is some ruled lines. I'm going to add some ruled lines to it. And I like that look. In fact, I want to keep that look for this entire section. So I'm going to come over here to my Insert tab, click on Page Templates. When I select Page Templates, it's going to give me the opportunity to save this look as its own page template. Now notice there are dozens and dozens of page templates that are already here for you. I recommend getting in there, exploring, and just taking a look at some of those and find what works for you. But I'm going to come down here for this situation and click Save Current Page as a template. let's just call this Basic 1 and hit this checkbox right there. This allows me to set this as the default template for every page that I now add to this section from here forward. So I'm going to go ahead and hit save. All right, so I've got my notebook set up here. Let me add some real estate to this. We're going to go ahead and collapse this. Now I can just start typing notes or taking notes. If you've got a stylus with your device, you can handwrite your notes right here. Handwritten notes, typed notes, it's all indexed so you can search it. It even indexes words on pictures. So if you import a picture in here, it will index those words, and those words are searchable. One of my favorite ways to do this, and in fact, how I learned about OneNote was kind of an individual that I know shared this with me. When he opens up the Insert tab, he clicks into the notebook section and opens up the Insert tab. He comes over here and he clicks on Record Audio during his sessions. So saving a recording actually through OneNote digitally links the notes that you're typing to the audio timestamp in that recording. So for example, if you don't understand one of the notes that I just typed, it automatically puts a little ghosted out play button there. You hit that play button, it plays that section of the audio. Way cool, right? Okay, so I want to set up my notebook for meetings that I have coming up here. I'm going to come up here to my Home tab. And over here on the far right-hand side, do you see this meeting details right here? When I open up meeting details, it goes to my calendar and pulls in my calendar events for whatever day I choose. So let's go ahead, there's some of them, and I can choose multiple days and pick the meeting that I want to pre-populate my notes for. So when I click on Insert Details, it automatically pulls in all the notes from the meeting invite in my Outlook and puts them right here into my OneNote notebook. So I can go ahead and move those around here a little bit, hit expand, and you can see how much typing it has saved me, how much time that saves me right here. And because it is integrated with all the Microsoft products right here, if I want to click on anyone's name, I have their Skype contact card right there. I can reach out to them with an instant message or an email and reach out to that individual. Hey, are you coming to our meeting? Right here within my notes section. Okay, a couple other things. I know we're running short on time here, but there's a couple other real important things I want to show you about OneNote. If you come up here to the Home tab at the top, off to the right-hand side, you'll see your ability to add tags and create to-do tags and find tags. This is an important section I want you to explore because when you tag something for follow-up in the future, you have the ability to go ahead and find that again with the find tags. Search all of your notebooks or search just that notebook for any notes that you took and you marked it as an Outlook task, and it puts it in your Outlook. You've got all that functionality available to you. The other thing I want to show you here is if I come over here and I open up a shared notebook, here's an M400 release notes that I have. When I open up this notebook, these are notes that my whole team has been taking on events that we've got coming up here. And notice I see their initials right here off to the right-hand side. I can see who actually added the notes to the notebook as we go along. Now, the meeting's starting, and I want to go ahead and take notes while I'm in the meeting. I'm going to come up here and I'm going to click on the View tab right here at the top and choose Dock to Desktop. So no matter what else I have open on my desktop, my notebook stays open off to the right-hand side so I can be taking notes while I'm viewing a presentation or while we're working together as a team in a conference room. I've got my notes docked right there. This little side arrow onto the right-hand side, that allows me to expand it to full page view, and I'm back. Now, let's take a look at our notes right here. And the meeting's ended, and I've been assigned to take notes for everybody in this meeting. As soon as the meeting adjourns, I'm going to come back here to my Home tab. I'm going to come over here and see where it says Email Page. Watch what happens. It automatically generated an email for me, already pre-populated with everybody in the meeting, all the notes from the meeting, all the PowerPoint presentations, all the emails around it, everything in that meeting is now pre-populated in this email, and all I have to do is click Send. Hey, you guys, thank you for spending a few minutes with me on OneNote today. Join us next week. We're going to have some more exciting conversations for you. Thank you very much.